old one?
There's a new one.
Alright, hang on. I need to exit the old one. Go. Oh, it's not doing anything for me. What's happening? Wait. Are you going to watch? I don't want to watch. Wait.
What is that?
Is that you?
Why?
Why is it ringing? Cesario, no. I think he's confused.
Really?
But like, we don't want to. This is what happened last time. Is that we? Hang on, let me get you. Okay, hang on. Hold on. He was calling the Google chat. Hang on. I'm gonna see if I can invite him or something. I don't understand.
Is he in the first one? I sent him
He
a link
was.
on
Leave
Facebook.
the first one. Oh my god. Watching you guys, but I'm not actively participating. If you're on YouTube right now. Doing? No, that's old. Cesario. What is going on? You're still in it. I clicked the little green camera. What the fuck is happening? I think I just did it. Wait. Wait. Oh my god, I don't know. I just clicked on something and in it was Cesario, and he's the only one here. I don't know. Wait, is my mic on? Oh no. Wait, how's that? So where's the new one? The new one's right here. Hang on, current. Where is it? Hang on. I don't know. Cesario joined. Let me just.
Why am I in that one?
Do you have an iPhone? I'm gonna text it to you. Wait. Oh, you don't have a Mac though. I did it. Did you? I did it. I think. Yeah, breathe. Yeah, there. Megan, you're gone. It's a cute picture, though.
All right, good problem solving. We just need Phil.
Or icon picture, rather. No. Also, there's like 40 minutes left.
So isn't it social media and new media so efficient?
I can't hear. Yes. Where did she go? Oh.
Okay. Let's let's jump in. Hopefully Phil will jump in shortly. Who wants to go next? Can you guys hear me okay? For once?
Good. Thumbs up.
Okay, good. You can hear me, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Thumbs up.
So I'm getting kicked out.
But like, why am I here 3 times?
I don't know why you're here.
There, I'll eject your other ones.
Nope. I think Brianna got kicked out too. Yeah.
Come on, Google Hangouts. I thought we were friends.
This is better than Bob.
Oh, and there's Phil. Okay. Good. All right, we're all here. Let's go.
Oh yeah,
before something else happens.
When you send me the link, when you invite me to these things, I can just watch it. I don't know if there's like a different link.
Yeah, same with
to
me.
Send, but...
Someone has to send me the Hangouts, and then I have to send it to Phil.
Oh, that's interesting. Well, you should be getting. I mean, I'm inviting you the way I'm inviting everybody else. So
that's weird.
If you go to the Google Hangouts website, it should like call you.
It pops up in my Gmail like as a group call.
Really?
I don't know why.
What the heck?
Because all the same happy Google network. They track you down. Okay. All right, so who wants to go next? Phil, you were talking about Facebook also, right? Why don't you go next?
Okay. Let's see.
You know how to do the screen share, right? From when you're ready.
Yeah, I am pretty sure. All right, just give me 1 second.
All right. Do you want me to go over it again?
No, I got it. I'm just also perplexed, but it's okay. It's telling me I can only share. Sorry, it's making me like select what I want to share. Oh, there we go. An entire screen. Woo! All right, this is exciting. Let's see. We can hear me. Everything's good.
Yep.
All right. So I also talked about Facebook, but not really about ads. More about the pages for nonprofits. On the right-hand side, I have my 11 bits of advice. On the left-hand side, I have some examples. The first piece of advice I found is that first impressions really matter, which is why you need a strong profile picture. This is the Wolf Conservation Center. I don't particularly like this photo. It doesn't really rope me in. There's nothing very unique about it, in my opinion. But obviously that's just me. And then UNICEF over here, obviously they have a lot of brand recognition. I like their cover photo a lot better, which you can't see. But it says end the suffering in Syria." I think that's very compelling because they're not just saying, like, oh, we're a nonprofit. They're saying this is a specific thing that we're working on, which I think is very effective. And then over here in Starbucks, obviously this is just their logo, but I don't think Starbucks needs much more than that because they're so well known.
Can you go back to your UNICEF example? And just when you were hovering, there was some interesting like hypertext information that came up. Do you mind just popping back over to that on UNICEF?
Right there, yeah. Wait,
what does it say?
Now more than ever, the world needs a public outcry to help end the Syria crisis. We've joined international and aid organizations to make an appeal. Like or share to show your support, and then a link. I think that's a pretty good method of doing things. I don't know how you would do that. I don't know how to go about adding that, but that is interesting. You can't really click the link though. That's not really fair.
No, I think what it probably is you know how in WordPress how you have to add metadata to a picture?
Yeah.
Maybe that's part of their metadata for the picture, and so it's popping up that way. I'm not positive. I've never noticed that before, so it's interesting.
Yeah, that's really strange. Second bit of advice, similar page suggestions, which is if you have a page on Facebook, it'll be under settings. It allows, like, just as it sounds, similar pages to pop up. I don't think UNICEF has that, but it's effective because if you turn that on, then you'll also appear on other people's similar page suggestions. That'll lead people to your page through sort of the larger pages if you're a lesser known nonprofit. Number 3, network.
Wait, just 1 second. Sorry. So I think you have a good job with your outline there, but we'll want to articulate the steps in the tip sheets and say, why it's important and then how to actually do it. And that may include, it could be easy enough to do a screenshot. That might be the easiest way. But I just wanted to mention that while we're kind of in the middle of it. Okay, go ahead. Back to you.
I will grab screenshots for that. But number 3, you have network, which is similar to number 2. Essentially, you should go and try to make friends with other nonprofits, especially on Facebook. That'll make them more likely to share your page on their page and advocate for you. And it's all about reciprocity. So obviously, you should be doing the same for other nonprofits, and that's a good way to get your name out there, especially on Facebook. Stay in the loop. So this also relates to some of the subsequent piece of advice, but essentially you should be paying very, very close attention to customer comments or people who are donating to you. You should be trying to communicate and looking for their opinions constantly, and you shouldn't ignore people or some of the advice they have for you. So number 5, stay positive. Sometimes you'll get criticism. Obviously, we've all seen it. Sort of internet trolls. And they'll come on your page and they'll be very mad and they'll be very negative. I couldn't find an example on Starbucks because maybe it might be dying down, but on the Starbucks page, you would always see people commenting about how much Starbucks hates the troops because of some very, very fake article that was been going around for like a decade. And Starbucks would always be very, very friendly, and they just link them to an article that corrects the information. So the idea is to not fight back and still treat people with respect, and even if they're not respecting you, kind of basic courtesy stuff. Be very, very friendly. It'll make you look a lot better. Number 6, let fans engage. So even if you are getting negative comments, don't turn the commenting setting off on your page. It's very important to let fans engage and to interact with them. So you should check out Starbucks because they're the best at this, to be honest. If you go to any one of their posts, this one's for smoked butterscotch latte espresso. And you go down, literally every comment that people send into Starbucks gets a response. I've been asking Starbucks for butterscotch flavoring forever. Doesn't seem like something that requires a response from a international company, but they still take time to say, "Dreams do come true, Sarah," with a little heart. I mean, they're really trying to get into like right into people's sort of emotions and lives, and to make their company seem human, which is advice number 7. That you don't want to be just pumping out information. You don't just want to be you don't want to use the Facebook page as a vehicle to just say like, this is what we do over and over and over again, or to just be giving facts over and over and over again. Facebook is used by people who want to be interacting with their friends and their family. So you want to be kind of part of that atmosphere. You want to be a friend. You want to appear human, and you want to start a dialogue that doesn't seem mechanical. So I'm sure Starbucks has real people who are just doing this. I'm sure that this is predominantly their job, to just make Starbucks seem just like everybody's buddy. I'm glad you enjoyed the drink, Kimber. And so it's just important to be doing that. UNICEF does it to a lesser extent. UNICEF seems to just reply to the first few people who post, or to some of the more popular posts. But it's the same thing basically. You get that kind of nice, friendly tone. We're happy to hear that you are just as inspired by ease as we are. His smile demonstrates a strong resiliency. This is under a post about one of the refugees that UNICEF is trying to help. Number 8, Saturday and Sunday, the best day to post, especially in the morning. That's when you get the highest engagement. So if you have something really, really important to say, Saturday and Sunday morning, probably the best day to say it. You'll get the most views, most likes, the most comments, the most engagement in general. It's the weekend, people have less to do, obviously. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't be posting throughout the week. It's really important to stay constantly engaged so that people don't forget about you. When I was doing my research, one of the biggest mistakes nonprofits seem to make is that they just fade out of people's memories. When people like a page, they're not likely to keep checking it out or to necessarily stay interested in what they've liked. It's a very rash, sort of passive move a lot of the time to just like a page. It's very easy. So you want to keep churning out content that's meaningful, connects to people, and keeps customers engaged. Upload photos. A big mistake a lot of nonprofits make is that they will post a link to a photo instead of actually uploading the photo itself. This Wolf Conservation Center is really great at that. Every one of their posts has a little photo.
Aren't those hyenas? I'm just curious. It's very small on your screen, but like that doesn't look like a wolf.
I don't think they're. Oh, these do look like hyenas. I didn't even know. Oh, yeah, I think they are. These are hyenas. But here's a little wolf. It says "Protect me." Very cute. And then they'll post things like this. This is once again sort of that personal attitude. It says pre-coffee attitude with a little grumpy face. So once again, just trying to stay human, and trying to stay engaged. This center could take some of the previous advice and start responding to people because they don't do that seemingly at all, which probably isn't the best for them. But yeah, they're very good with image sharing. Number 10, pin to top, is another thing you can do with your posts, which will bring the most you can post pretty much wherever you want. You can pin it to the top of your page. So if you have a very popular post, you can pin it around here, and it'll stay up there for as long as you want. So that when people visit your site, you don't necessarily get a post about hyenas. You'll get your most popular wolf post, which can be pretty effective. And none of these sites seem to do that. Like this is from 7 hours ago. This is from 6 hours ago. So Starbucks, UNICEF, and our wolf conservation don't seem to be taking that advice, but it's good to keep in mind. And then lastly, use the events page. Don't just expect people to know what's going on with your company. Make sure you're inviting people to events you're holding, getting an idea of what people want at the events. Once again, listening to comments and opinions of people. Keep people engaged. Also, Facebook events will remind you when an event's coming up, so you'll have less people who forget that they wanted to go to something, so that'll be useful. And that's about it. Should I stop sharing, keep sharing the screen share? I can't hear anybody.
Oh, got any video for us?
No, I don't have any video.
Okay. Okay, any questions for Phil about Facebook? Who wants to jump in? Okay, somebody ask a question before the whole system crashes again. Carly, come on, you always have good questions.
Oh, okay. Do you I guess think that individual companies like work in
Carly, you cut out. I did not catch that.
Well, hang on, let me see if Corinne's mic works.
Okay, all right. I guess the question was, do you think individual companies are utilizing Facebook's current advertising, I don't even know what to call it, like basis, to like, I guess like a capacity that's like attainable by nonprofit organizations, or do you think like, I know we were looking at like Facebook and we were seeing how they're able to comment and put the manpower behind responding to every individual comment and everything, whereas like the wolf conservation might not be able to do that. Do you think it's sort of just a limitation of the platform because of how, I guess like this is really convoluted, I'm sorry. I guess how the pages are like advertised and promoted because of sort of what Mike was talking about.
Can I ask if I am gathering what you're saying?
Yes, please.
So are you saying that Starbucks obviously has unlimited budget, right, to manage a page, but so how does a nonprofit do the same, or should the nonprofit bother? Are they going to be effective? That's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not sure how it is compared to the paid advertising because I didn't research that. But I think that Starbucks obviously has a team of people who are working on that around the clock to just respond to people like crazy. And nonprofits who aren't as popular, like the Wolf Conservation Site, might not be able to afford that. But at the same time, somebody's managing that page. Somebody's posting those pictures. Um, so I think they could definitely do a better job of responding to people because somebody is definitely there, and it doesn't take that long to just respond to a few comments. You know.
Yeah, that's true.
How did you decide to pick wolf conservation? I mean, Starbucks is kind of obvious, like as a good, like this is what you
Yeah.
can do with a lot of money example versus wolf nonprofit that I actually have never heard of. So I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
I've never heard of it either. I wanted to do two big ones. I wanted to do Starbucks, which isn't a nonprofit, but I just know that they completely destroy the Facebook game, just knock it out of the park. I knew they'd be a good example. UNICEF is obviously a very famous nonprofit, so I had them in mind and wanted to see how they interacted with Facebook. And then I just typed in nonprofit into the search bar, and Facebook just found one that I had no idea about, just so I could pick a smaller one and see how they were managing things instead of just picking giant nonprofits.
Yeah, I think that that's a good technique because a lot of the nonprofits who are coming to us for help are small and they don't have a lot of resources. I just got a message from a guy on my LinkedIn network who's like, yeah, I don't have a marketing communications person, so I need help with this and this and this. And I was like, okay, well, we'll see what we can do, kind of thing. But I think that that's good benchmark. You know, when you can do it, obviously Facebook is the type of platform. You know, if you have Vine, you're not necessarily going to find a lot of small nonprofits on it, but Facebook, almost everybody's there.
Yeah.
Okay. Other questions about Facebook for Phil? No questions from Cesario?
Eerily silent.
What? Oh, sorry, my microphone was muted. Hmm.
Put the sandwich down.
Um, I don't really have a question. I think you did a good job covering it.
Oh, thanks.
Okay. Well, as we dig in deeper and we drill down into specific applications for specific nonprofits, I'm sure more questions will come up. And we have Phil to turn to as our resident expert. So,
I actually do have one question.
oh, great, go for it.
It's actually probably really easy to like figure out, but like, especially when it comes to like bigger organizations, nonprofit or for-profit, would they teach their employees the type of tone, like, so that it sounds like one person is always in charge of responding, versus like, because you know different people talk different ways and like post different things, and like their tone and the way like their essence, I guess, online can sound different. Like, would they unify so that everyone sounds the same when they respond?
I'm not sure. I didn't like find anything about that because I didn't ask the question. But I think it's a good question, and I think yeah, you're probably right. They probably have very scripted type of stuff, pretty uniform. But I'm sure they also give them some leeway in order to make it sound a little bit more personal. But and I'm sure they only employ people who are like from certain areas to respond to people from certain areas. You know, that would be my guess.
Oh, that's an interesting concept. So you think that, and what I think you mean geographically, right? Like
Yeah.
people in Asia are responding to people in Asia on. Yeah, that's an interesting concept. That's a really great question, and there were a couple other questions too that I think are good to when we bring in guest speakers to ask them. But my hunch is that Starbucks probably has a pretty thorough style guide and is hiring from the get-go people who fit that mold of what they're looking for in terms of style. And if you have skilled writers who maybe have that personality to begin with or can get pretty close to it, it's interesting because I was just reading through a freelancer's work today, and I was kind of surprised at the range that she had in terms of tone. And her style is, from what she sent me, is completely different than what I have. It's very much magazine style, and I'm definitely more in the newspaper style. But so it's going to be interesting, and sometimes that's a good thing, right? That you don't want everything to sound the same all the time, because if it sounds, then it becomes monotonous. So, but that's a great question to add for when we have a guest speaker. So definitely jot that one down. Okay. Megan, Brianna, any questions from you guys about Facebook?
No,
I think they're both like still like unavailable to join, but like my mic should be able to like pick up if they have any like thing. But like they can
Thank you.
watch
Thank you
the
for
chat, but they
being the
can't
broadcast
participate.
medium to May Hall.
Hey.
Hi.
Yeah, we can hear you fine. Any questions?
I don't think so.
Especially Megan, you know, after looking at Facebook ads, is there any questions that prompted you to think about, well, how is Facebook ads different from organic? Right now, have we covered that term? Like organic would mean just what happens naturally as opposed to paid advertising.
Mhm. I mean, in a way, I feel like there's more that a person can do with the paid advertisement, just getting their page out there. But I also feel like if you're doing enough cross promoting and stuff like that, I feel like the organic Facebook page could be just as successful.
Cool. Phil, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think the two should probably work together. I think it doesn't make sense to pay for advertising if you're barely going to be posting to your page anyway, or if you're barely going to be responding to people. But at the same time, you're not going to get a lot of people coming to your page, obviously, if there's no advertising for it. So, going to work together.
Yeah, and I don't know if you guys came across this in your research, but Facebook's algorithm, and they've loosened up on this significantly, because if you think about it, right, like Google makes money off ads and Facebook makes money off ads. So if they're just going to let everybody run amok, right, and not have to advertise, then they don't really have much of a business model. And Facebook, for a while, when it first came out in their IPO, so when they went out to the stock market, there was a big issue that, well, how is Facebook going to make money, because its ads did not render on mobile phones, and most people were using Facebook on a mobile phone. So they really had to push hard and launch a strategy. And part of that strategy, right around that time, if I recall correctly, is that they would take your organic post, so just an update, right? And let's say you had 100 followers on your nonprofit's Facebook page. Well, 1 to 3 people might see that. So 1 to 3% reach, what's called reach, like people are actually seeing that. And whether or not somebody engages with it, you know, now your percentages are dropping down more. And what I think started to happen is that brands were saying, well, I don't have a huge budget to advertise on Facebook, so I'm just not going to do Facebook anymore. And that's not a good thing for Facebook either. So it's this tension there. And recent reports have said that they've eased up on it a little bit, but it definitely makes a difference for nonprofits. And it's interesting how, you know, just things are always changing and evolving, and it makes it pretty exciting to kind of stay on top of. Cool. All right. Well, good discussion and good research, Phil. And again, when we get into specifics for our specific nonprofits, we're going to have to really dig deep and make recommendations based on either what they are doing or not doing or best practices. So this is good. Good baseline. All righty. Who wants to go next? The last two. Is it Brianna or Cesario? How about Cesario? Why don't you go next, and then Brianna can shift over so she's a little bit closer to Corinne's mic. Is that good?
Okay. Can you hear me now? There's problems before.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can everybody else hear Cesario okay?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Oh.
So you're doing Twitter and Facebook ads.
Or doing Twitter ads. Didn't someone already do Facebook ads?
Oh, sorry, it's Twitter and LinkedIn. Sorry, and I
Yeah.
forgot Corinne, you
Yeah.
still need to go too. Duh.
So is it working? Screen shared?
Yep. Screen share seems to be working.
Okay. So in my research, I found a very good source straight from Twitter where they just literally outline some of the steps that nonprofits should use when do when using Twitter ads. So one of them is using like what do they call it? Um, Promoted videos and new ad formats. So I know Carly, she was talking about how you should use Vine and Twitter and Facebook in conjunction with each other, and they talk a lot about doing that in this article right here. And it's important that you do that because that way you can spread your brand and your nonprofit in more ways than just posting a text, like a 140 character tweet. You make it more interactive and more interesting. And also, when you people contribute to your nonprofit, you want to make sure that you give them recognition. So like, oh,
Well, they really love the paper, huh? Little pieces of paper moving around.
yeah. So like this is like some statistics and like showing what people's contributions mean, how they're impacting um, their chosen nonprofit and how they're making a difference. And again, this is more like an interactive kind of slideshow, kind of GIF like thing. It's not just plain 140 character text. Um, Also, you want to use keywords. This is pretty obvious, but you want to use keywords in your tweets, and you want to call users to action. So I know before we talked about TweetDeck, and I just wanted to mention something cool that you can do with TweetDeck. This is my Twitter. Um, you can literally make a column on Twitter about just about anything. So you can go to what's trending. So like Apple's trending, and you can see what's going on. And you can make specific tags for specific nonprofits. So like UNICEF. Add a column, and then you can see how people are engaging with that keyword, and it helps you understand how people are understanding your organization and how they see the word in general. And another thing that I thought was interesting was I don't remember how I did this, but I was able to add Twitter ads to my own um, profile. So if I just click this little thing right here, I don't know why it's not working. Um, let me. That's weird. Let's try and find another one. Like this one. Well, I don't know why it's not working, but it should say how many people have seen my tweet, how many people have engaged with it, how many people have clicked on my profile. I guess something's just going awry. But back to the paper. So you want to know your audience and target people who want to donate. So, um, like you want to make sure you get people who are interested in your nonprofit. They're near you, understanding your demographic and their gender. There's an interesting um, so like this right here, it tells you all the types of Twitter ads. So there's promoted tweets, where I am sure if you've been on Twitter, you've seen that little yellow banner right here where it says promoted, and promoted trends, promoted accounts, and it like breaks down how much if you want to do some Twitter ads, it breaks it down a little bit. And this is what I was talking about before, like location, gender, and the platform they use. There's some applications, Twitter applications, that they actually show you what platforms people are on. So like this one, for example. Um, Why is my computer being weird? Oh, this one. This certain person. It tells they're on Twitter for Android. Can you guys still hear me? Cause okay,
We can hear you.
you can.
Can? Like can? Yes.
Okay, sorry. You want to use website cards to engage with your following, and you don't want to be afraid to ask for donations. So, going back.
Do you have an example of a website card?
Like right here.
Get a sense.
Right here, a website card. You click it, go straight to it, and it looks really classy. And it doesn't just look like some hyperlink. It looks like a nice picture. Nice. You understand what's going on. Also, you want to, if you find people on Twitter who are passionate about what you're doing and your products and your nonprofit, you want to ask them maybe to like be ambassadors for your brand and cause. So let me click that. So I see like right here, it explains it perfectly. Engage users, including brand ambassadors, to advocate for your organization. Twitter is an interesting place because I feel like it's the only platform where you can actually engage with some high-level celebrities pretty easily. So I'm gonna give an example from my own experience. Um, so So I was able to talk to Aaron Baker. He used to be a former editor-in-chief of a very successful phone blog, and we had a little conversation going on about the difference in between iOS and Android and what he prefers. And nonprofits could take advantage of that and ask someone maybe more high profile to check out their organization, and that way they can be able to engage with more audiences.
I think that's a really good tip, that that a nonprofit could engage with an influencer without needing an introduction, or that to me is the most powerful part of Twitter, is just with a simple at whoever the user is, you can go in and say, hey, what do you think about this?
Yeah, I've been able to talk to a lot of the people I really respect, that are like journalists, and they just respond to my comments, and I'm always amazed, even though it happens like semi-frequently. I'm always amazed when they actually interact back, and I feel like Twitter's really good for that. Um, so here are some examples of good nonprofit Twitter accounts: UNICEF. So Phil mentioned that you could pin certain posts on top of Facebook. You can also do the same thing on Twitter. In a lot of ways, Facebook and Twitter are like kind of converging into, like, not converging literally, but they're like stealing ideas from each other. And this is, I don't know if who's had it first, but this is also something that can be done to help promote certain things that you want people to understand about your organization. Yep. And another one is Human Rights Watch. See, yep. So they like are retweeting some ambassadors, some people who kind of represent the same things they do. I was also supposed to do LinkedIn, correct?
Hang on a second. Yeah, but if you want, you can wait until next week because we're running out of time anyway.
Okay.
So I think what we should do. Well, actually, so any questions about Twitter ads? Are they expensive compared to Facebook or Google?
I wasn't able to find pricing exactly, which is kind of an oversight. But yeah, I don't really know. I need to do more research.
Yeah, if you can look into that, what the value is compared to the other ones, because I think as far as promoted tweets and things like that, that's something nonprofits haven't really caught on to, and maybe why they would want to do it. But okay, questions for Cesario?
Solid.
If you had to pick one tip about Twitter advertising to tell a nonprofit, what would it be?
Ooh, that's a good question. Probably what I mentioned before about how you can engage with high-level celebrities and influencers. That's probably the biggest asset that Twitter has, in my opinion.
Cool.
Cool. Any other questions? Come on, Phil. Churn up a question there.
Come at me.
I guess you mentioned different types of Twitter advertising, like you could advertise your account or like a promoted post or whatever. Is there one that's more effective than the other?
I know personally, I see a lot of promoted tweets, primarily. So I feel like I don't have solid data, but in my experience of using Twitter, the promoted tweets are probably among the most prevalent, the most ones that the people use the most. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
So what would be great is if you could supplement with these questions about effectiveness and is one better than another? Maybe who's doing more of one or the other would be kind of interesting, and then relative cost. Also, to what degree can you target demographically? And we're gonna next week. So the other thing too is that we're probably gonna do the same thing next week with Google Plus, YouTube, Instagram, and Pinterest, because we're gonna need time on Tuesday to kind of wrap up this week. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how on Facebook you can really drill down demographically, and that's what we'll do on Tuesday. So it would be interested to know how you can do that on Twitter as well. So
I'm going to stop screen sharing now. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. I know you feel like you're in the vortex, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so next week we'll do Twitter, which is Brianna, and then LinkedIn is Corinne, and then I'm going to do a little bit more LinkedIn, and then we're going to do Facebook ads in depth. And so that'll be Tuesday. And then so I guess see if you can answer some of the questions, but then once we drill into Facebook ads, you'll have a better idea of what we're looking for to compare Facebook and Twitter ads and the demographic data. Because that'll be important, So for example, Facebook, I can advertise to people who live in my town or within a 25-mile range, that have kids in elementary school and are interested in dogs and, being outside. So there's a lot that you can do with it, and that's what makes Facebook really powerful. It's also pretty inexpensive. But we're going to go into that into more depth. So I think that the assignment that's due for Monday should be fairly straightforward, but try to augment based on some of the questions that people asked and maybe things that you didn't get a chance to cover on your blog post. Try to get into more depth, and maybe think more about different examples, screenshots of what nonprofits are doing on your different platforms. And if you want, you can pick the same platform or pick something different, but what I'm really looking for is not just a rehash of what you just did. Does that make sense? For the blog post due on Monday?
Yep.
Okay. Good. And some people already sent me the email query for the nonprofits, which I was thinking that, if you did it, great. But I think I mentioned in class last time that we were going to kind of hold off on that. So I think I set the deadline for that for Monday. So if you want to have that done for Monday too, that would be good. And then what I'll be doing is I'll compile the best of and send those questionnaires out to the nonprofits who we're interested in engaging with, and hopefully get something back within a week, so that then we can actually sort through, okay, which nonprofits do we really want to work with? Because I'm getting enough now. We really only need like 6 or 8 to choose from. That way, you can do something that interests you. And if you happen to know of a nonprofit that you're particularly interested in or maybe connected with, you can always recommend to them to participate. In essence, it's sort of like applying, but the application process is pretty easy, and it shouldn't. The only commitment is for them to fill out the questionnaire and to be willing to do an interview with you guys on the phone. Doesn't even have to be in person. So something to think about if you know of a nonprofit. When we did event planning, we worked with a ton of different nonprofits, and they, in one case, there was a student whose mom had a heart condition and was somewhat terminally ill in a long-range sense, and so one of his events that he planned was actually like a fundraiser that was also sort of a celebration of life for her. So it's kind of interesting. Oh, I think Corinne got knocked out. Okay, well, let's wrap up then. And I think the connection with Mayhall is totally gone now. Oh.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi.
So I wonder, are we in separate calls? I think we're in separate calls now.
Yeah, I accidentally hit the exit button.
Oh, that's okay. Oh, but I was just saying that we should just wrap up anyway, because I think we're good for tonight. And just ping me with any questions that you might have. Make sure that you put your questions out on Twitter, because we'll eventually hopefully get different brands and outsiders to see, oh, there's some interesting questions and discussions going on here. Maybe get some people to contribute. But we kind of need a good thread going before we do that.
Okay.
Awesome. And ping me with any questions.
Okay.
Good. Okay. Well, you guys have a good night.
You too.
Alrighty. Good night.
Good night.
Bye.